What's up, guys? UFC Mexico is this weekend, and we have a stacked card this weekend. A main event of Brandon Moreno versus Lonnie Kavanagh in the flyweight division. And, yeah, this weekend's looking rough, as a lot of weekends have here lately since the Paramount era has begun. I am here to break down the fights and give you my predictions on what I think is going to happen. For 6 weeks in a row, I was the most profitable YouTuber on MMA YouTube, and that streak got broken with last week's card. I still went 8-6 on the card, but I'm here to bring back the being the most profitable guy on a weekly basis. So, if you guys want to join a competition, come over to Tapology.com. You guys can win $100 during each numbered event by doing this. You're going to go to Tapology.com/groups/2048. Make a Tapology account. Start making fight picks like we are about to do right now. I'm going to show you the process while I go through my picks. And then save them while you're in my group. If it's during a numbered event, I give out $100 personally each event, and I'm a little bit behind on that right now because I've been broke lately. But eventually, that's gonna get back on track. Anyways, moving on. We are going to start with the early prelims and move all the way up to the main event. I am going to start with Wes Schultz versus Damian Pinas. You know, it's a crazy name, but Wes Schultz, I think, has a pretty good chance in this fight because of the name value here. You know, Wes meaning close to West, and Schultz being a famous actor. Or a famous comedian, if you will. Clearly, the elephant in the room here is Damian Pinas. What a name this is. What a name, a spectacular name. Damian Pinas. I mean, incredible. We're going back to the Dan Hooker files this quick. We got Pinas versus Schultz. I don't know how to put this other than I'm taking Pinas with both hands. And just like he's going to be taking this fight, you know. Pinas is a big, veiny, throbbing, girthy, large, black, you know, Pinas. I don't know how much more I can run this. Pinas is 6'1". Pinas has 79 inches of reach. Can't forget that. Pinas is 8-1. Coming off an impressive KO in the Contender Series over Vitor Costa, not Victor. Jesus, I'm back to old school UFC when they were calling Vitor Victor. Yeah, he's impressive, and this guy lost to Mansour Abdul Malik, another big black guy, to be fair, but like, Pinas. Anyways, moving on. We're on to the next fight. I got Pinas by round 1 KO. I'm taking Pinas in both hands, like I said. Just like Dan Hooker has. We've got Eric Silva versus Francis Marshall. I will never pick Eric Silva to win a UFC fight. He's 39 years old, and he ain't winning a UFC fight if he ain't won one yet. Francis Marshall has competed at decent levels. Like, he's competed at them split decisions to both William Gomis and Marion Santos. Win against Dennis Bazookia. I'm going to pick Francis Marshall to KO Eric Silva in the second round. I'm picking finishes. Here we go again. You know what? No. This is a decision. Is this girl here on short notice? Because I don't remember this fight being this fight last night. Or yesterday even. I don't know. Oh, Jesus me. You know. Sorry, boys. I wasn't ready. So we're going with tails, huh? Do you finish fights? No. We're picking this lady, I guess. The coin has decided. Sorry, folks. The old sinuses are gross. We've picked Cara Kate by decision. Moving on to Javier Reyes versus Douglas Silva de Andrade. You know, we've got Reyes coming off of a finish of Justin Torres in the Contender Series, and he's coming off of LFA wins. He's a 45er. Is de Andrade moving up to 45, or is this at 35? This is at 45. Why do I almost want to call the Douglas Silva de Andrade fraud check here? At 40 years old. I'm not doing it, bro. Reyes is finishing this guy. By KO. The question is, what round? What round? 1? Maybe 2? I don't know. I don't know Reyes, and I know Douglas Silva de Andrade is just old at this point, and I mean he's still competing at a decently high level. Like, he's going to decision with, you know, Said Nurmagomedov, Miles Johns. It's not the best level of competition, but it's not the worst either. I'm going to be taking Reyes by KO round 1. It's just kind of a coin, not a coin flip, but like, it just, who knows, honestly. Christian Quinones versus Chris Moutinho. You know, like, this guy beat a Road to Contender Series guy. A Road to the UFC, not Road to Contender Series, my bad. A Road to UFC guy, Khalid Taha. Quinones by decision? I don't know. Either that or Moutinho by decision. One of the two. Oh, goody. Wow, that was a long flip, huh? Alright, I mean, yeah, I guess. There you go. The coin has decided, folks. Jesus, somebody's dying outside. We've got Jose Medina versus Ryan Gondra. I'm picking Ryan Gondra. Jose Medina's never won a fight to even get into the UFC. He did not win his Contender Series fight. This man's on a 4-fight losing streak. Do not pick him. He will only win if this guy somehow, it won't surprise me, gasses himself out in the first round because they're in high elevation and then loses to Medina over time, which would just be upsetting. I'm going to be taking Medina to get finished. I know he's only been finished or knocked out by Atiba Gauthier, but this dude got finished by Dusko Todorovic as well, who I believe is also on this card. I'm going to be picking Ryan Gondra. KO. I might be wrong on Dusko being on this card. I really don't remember. Santiago Luna, Jesus, versus Angel Pacheco. Angel Pacheco. I think this one's pretty obvious. We're just going to be going with good old Santiago Luna. By KO, I guess. I feel like a submission's bound to happen in here, but I just see Santiago Luna being the better fighter. Yes, he beat a Quang Lee, a Road to UFC guy, in his debut, but we're up against a guy who has not won a UFC fight to even get in. He had a good fight with Danny Silva to, like, make his way in, but, like, he didn't win. Anyways, we're going to move to Emmanuel Rodriguez versus Kevin Bojas. Why do I want to pick the Kevin Bojas upset here? I'll tell you why. Decent cardio. He did poke and prod his way to a Ronaldo Rodriguez decision victory. I just think that more speaks to the level of Ronaldo Rodriguez instead of the level of Kevin Bojas. So he has been finished from back mount. He only has one win in the UFC, one to get in. And it was a decision victory as well. I do see this being like maybe one of the fight of the night kind of contenders. I'm going to pick Emmanuel Rodriguez by decision. Maybe this is kind of one of those hyped up prospects from Mexico that just ends up not paying off. I am kind of worried that him being a contender series guy, heavy favorite, like, I don't know. This guy has competed in the UFC for a while, but he just does not win. But when he fought a Mexican, he won. 2 Mexicans and he's won. I'm just saying. He's undefeated against Mexicans. You know what? We're going to take the flyer here. We're going to take Kevin Bojas by decision. I'm taking the risk here. I think it's a worthwhile risk to take. I mean, honestly, it's not the worst fight for him to win here. He's coming up against a guy who has not fought in the UFC yet. He has fought decent level of competition off the regional scene until you get down into his first 2 fights on Tapology. But I don't know. I just feel like he and Kevin Bojas has been competing at a higher level, even though has not been winning at that level. This is a pretty high step down, in my opinion, or low step down. Edgar Chairez versus Felipe Bunez. I'm going to be picking Edgar Chairez. Not by decision. Here, I'm going to pick submission in round number 2. I think that Felipe Bunez is dangerous. He could get a finish here, but I just see Edgar Chairez ending up getting a round 2 sub. I think he can latch up maybe a guillotine, maybe a rear naked choke if he gets to the back. But yeah, he's longer, he's rangier. Not taller, they're the same height, but I just think he's rangier and a better fighter. Moving on to the main card now. Oh no, we've been on the main card. Never mind. We're moving up to the feature fight. We've got Daniel Zellhuber versus Kevin Green. Oh my God, what is wrong with me? Kevin Bojas was on the last one. Bobby King Green. I almost want to pick the Bobby Green fraud check, but I'm going to pick Daniel Zellhuber by KO, round number 1. I am worried that he is just not going to be able to find Bobby Green kind of the same way he wasn't really able to find Michael Johnson. They have given him both old black unks and the old black unks from the lightweight division in his past 2 fights. So now I think, now being his past 2 fights, I think he's going to have learned from that. Really going to push the pace, I think, hopefully, and grab maybe a round 2 KO over Bobby Green. I think everybody's picking round 1. Marlon Vera versus David Martinez. Man, I honestly think this is a lot harder to call than than it's being put out to be. Martinez is a moderate favorite over Chito Vera, who this is a big step down for Chito too. But I just don't like Chito's activity anymore, man. Like, I think Martinez is going to get a big decision victory here over Chito. Chito just doesn't take risks until the last round. And maybe he will hurt Martinez and finish him in the last round, but that's kind of all you can think is going to happen. He's going to get dominated until the finish if he gets one. David Martinez just fights at a high pace. He fights with aggression. He's mean. Very much Vinicius Oliveira style, but I can see Vinicius having beat Marlon Vera had he not fought. Why did I lose his name? It doesn't matter. Mario Batista. Anyways, moving on. That was the co-main event. Brandon Moreno versus Lonnie Kavanagh. I think Brandon Moreno is washed and old for the weight class. Like, for himself, like, he's just been in this weight class so long. I think a step up to 35 and bulking up a little bit might help him out. I'm going to pick him, though, by round 3 TKO. I think he's going to get the job done here. Lonnie Kavanagh tends to fade. He faded against Charles Johnson. He faded a bit against Felipe Dos Santos. The reason he lost to Charles Johnson and he was gassed out after shooting takedown attempts. He does not grapple well. Or doesn't grapple well. He doesn't grapple enough in the gym to make himself not tired when he grapples in the cage. So he was grappling and it made him extremely tired. You could tell it immediately. And just not a great performance from Lonnie Kavanagh in his last fight. He was lighting him up early. I expect the same thing early here from him to Moreno. I think he's going to light up Moreno early. Leg kicks are going to tear up Moreno's leg. So it might be a little bit of a rough night early for Moreno, but I think he's going to end up getting through it and starting to put a pace on Lonnie Kavanagh mid-second round, or like mid-second round. He's going to start putting a pace on Lonnie. And then I think he's going to get him out of there in the third round. Although he doesn't win very many TKOs, I have him by TKO here. These are my picks. We can go back through them real quick so you guys can write them down, get in your parlays, whatever, you degens. Nah, I am too. Moreno by round 3 KO. David Martinez by decision. Zell Huber by round 2 KO. Shirez by round 2 sub. Borjas by decision. Santiago Luna by round 2 KO. Gondra by round 1 KO. Perez by decision. Quinones by decision. Reyes by KO round 1. Caracat by decision. Marshall by decision. And we're gripping Pinas with both hands. He's by round 1 KO. We're saving it. This is exactly how you guys can compete in my competition. Each numbered event, that makes you $100. Anyways, guys, I'll see y'all for the fights. Bye.